Yeah, you technically can break it with Stalkers if you just pull them back and micro them quite well.
Right.
And he's only got 1 or 2 queens. But that's quite difficult when you get up to the 4 Stalker range, so I did go for the Immortal. 4 Spine range. Right. So I've never played this map before. This is actually my first time ever on the map. But the ramp was pretty standard, and the way it curves around lends itself nicely to falling back. So I felt okay at the start. I typically drop my first pylon right at the top of the ramp, so that if they go for a proxy hatch on the low ground, for my expansion, I can drop a cannon on the low ground immediately. But on this map, the proxy hatch would be way far away from the ramp, so I would have to daisy chain it a little bit. But I just did that out of habit, I think. Scouted the bottom first, so I didn't find him there, but that's actually good for me, I think. I don't want to find him first. I want to wait until I have about 300 minerals before I start the rush, and I wouldn't have that much money by the time I got to the bottom. Would have had to stand around looking all awkward.
Yeah, so you scouted him here, dropped down the pylon wall, the dreaded pylon wall. Zergs love that.
Yeah.
And then you have the photon cannon here, completely walled in by another 3 pylons.
Yes.
Slow that down a little bit here.
You see that drone that goes down? I saw that and that worried me a bit. Because I saw Lings leaving as well, I thought it would be the drone would be going to my natural to build a hatch there, and the Lings would protect it in case I tried to put a cannon on the low ground.
Right. Which may have been a bit better to do than taking his expansion where he takes it, as you'll see right now. It's definitely hidden, but it doesn't really make an impact other than cost him 300 minerals to place, and then by the time it gets going, you're already killing his main.
Yeah, it depends how long the game goes on.
Yeah. I mean, if the game continued, he definitely had the economic lead.
Yeah, it's a good future plan. So I lose my advanced cannon here because I didn't see that spine crawler. I should have cancelled it. Yeah, I did. So now it gets a bit dicey up here on the high ground. I think I want 2 more cannons to deal with any more spine crawlers pushing forwards. But I also need a pylon. I don't have money for all of them. So I try getting the pylon after the cannons. But it turned out that was a bit late. I should have just gone for 1 cannon and a pylon, because now they're all unpowered, and I'm going to lose my top cannon because of it.
But it's weird that this pylon on the low ground is not powering the high ground cannon. It's like right next to it.
Yeah, it used to. I used to be able to walk right up into the back of people's bases in 2v2 with my Zerg buddy. It was amazing. It got patched out.
So you can see that he does have that secret base now up.
Yes, he does indeed, yeah.
Yeah, if he put it at your expansion here, I'm guessing that would be better, but I'm not really sure. Maybe just staying on one base.
It does happen quite often. If you use spine crawler rushes from my natural to my main, I end up having to go kind of all in at his main base. I just start warping in there and get ready to do a base trade.
Right.
If I can't get a cannon on the low ground in time, which quite often I can't.
This reminds me of a really awesome game that I played. I mean, it was a little trollish, but it was Legacy of the Void, and you know, it's just like beta right now, so it's kind of all over the place. And by the time I was playing a CVB like this, and he was canning me, by the time I went to my Nexus, or not Nexus, I pulled everything into my Nidus and ended up in his base, and we literally switched bases like where we started. So like 15 minutes in the game, I was on his side of the map and he was on my side. I took over his main, he took over my main, and it's like we literally started a new game from there.
That's always fun.
Then he took a secret base, and I'm like, what the heck, dude? How do you have so many stalkers? and it went on for like 30 minutes. It was a really fun game, like both probably to watch and to play. It was pretty interesting. That's why I do like Legacy of the Void like that. It's not like you've seen any of this stuff before. It's kind of definitely the most different game I've ever played.
Yeah, it's going to take me a very long time to figure out cannon rushing in Legacy. So many things have changed.
Well, you don't need cannons anymore. You just overcharge your pylons and it's instant win.
They took away one step of the build.
Yeah, cannons are pretty much like automatically nerfed because pylons are now stronger than cannons. Because they can't be unpowered. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
So he goes for the push forwards here. I'm manually targeting the spines because at the end of the fight.
Well, all you need to do is kill that pylon first.
Yeah.
So he kills the cannons and then just kind of loses a lot there.
The pylon does have a little bit more health than the cannons, and to get in range of the pylon, he might have had to get in range of my low-powered cannon. So I could see the decision going either way. But his lower base is really kicking in now. I feel like maybe if he just held back a little bit,
yeah,
and waited for me to try and pick away on his spines.
But he knows he has the economic lead. Yeah, but yeah, the offensive spine crawlers. Yeah, if it wasn't for that, he actually could have held here for a long time. He got the economic lead to push with a bunch of roaches.
Yeah, we could have seen a different thing. But I would have had Immortals coming out quite soon anyway. It is very, very difficult to tell if you can break a cannon wall or not. It's like not something that most people have to do in a game. You very rarely push a bunch of roaches into a wall of cannons and see what happens. So very hard to judge and well played to it.